We had our winner. Now we're going to find out today's first loser. Will it be Soulkey, or if only Zerg representatives in this tournament, or will it be the new Prime player in Phoenix user MyuNgSiK here, the Bubblegum Chewer? We're about to find out.
Yeah, I have to say, Soulkey definitely looked a lot more focused and solid. MyuNgSiK looked a little bit nervous in his games against TY. I have to say, TY was really throwing him for a loop. Took him down in 2 games there pretty easily here. But we're going to have to see how this one turns out. The maps here for this one are Overgrowth, King Sage Station, and Nimbus. A map we haven't seen much here.
Yeah, it's a map that's got that free backdoor expansion, so if we do go to that set 3, it's going to be a pretty expansion-oriented map. We're definitely see really basically free bases in this matchup. This is sort of a crazy early pool or something. Honestly, the bans make sense to me. The Deadwing ban is the only one that I could say, like, you don't necessarily have to ban that. I might have banned Overgrowth, actually, against MyuNgSiK, but, you know, if you get vertical spawns on Deadwing, it's kind of like Overgrowth, rush distance-wise. You can do a lot of things like that, but I don't know. I feel like if I'm Soulkey, I go into this with the assumption that I am the stronger player, and I don't need to play on Overgrowth, and I feel like MyuNgSiK, I mean, this is his first pick, so I would have expected Soulkey to ban this map, actually. I'm kind of surprised by it, but he has been showing he likes to use hatch blocks. Good map for a hatch block, so keep that in mind, too.
Not bad.
All right, guys, let's go into game number 1 of our losers match here for Group D.
Down here in the bottom left, in the red, the Zerg player, it's Soulkey.
And up to the bottom, or excuse me, to the top right. In blue, it's MyuNgSiK. Former KT player, now turned Prime.
Yeah. He's in a prime position to get a new start.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to have a 9 pool. Early pool coming out here. This might be one of the reasons why I didn't ban this map. Opponent's first map pick, I'm gonna do some early aggression.
This is pretty interesting. You know, Soulkey, a lot of times on this map, we saw him do it against Hero. He just sends out the scout on 9 and makes sure he's not being forge blocked, or rather cannon, rushed. No forge coming out, and then just goes hatch or pool based on what his opponent is doing here. But he's trying to take the game into his hands. Wants to end it early here, possibly.
Yeah, it's going to be a gateway build. The pylon's in a pretty nice spot. With that pylon, he's going to be able to, probably save this gateway against Lings. I mean, this is not the earliest pool you could see. It's a 9 pool, so should be able to get the Zealot out. It's going to make a second pylon in range of the gate. And what the drone wants to come in here and see is it a risky, super risky build in the Nexus first? How many Lings do I really want to commit to before I start making drones again and go into a hatch? And right now, there's still no information. MyuNgSiK can find out right now. Not only is that there's no hatch, but there are Lings coming across the map. They're going to actually try to kill his probe. That buys him a few seconds, in fact.
Doesn't look like he's going to be able to kill that probe. Has 5.
I think he actually will if it turns.
If it goes for the turn, no.
It actually does not turn. Oh, now it turns, though.
It turns. It did regain a tiny bit of shields, but it doesn't really matter there. Does get the probe here, but again, like you said, delays a lot of time. He's going to have possibly 2 Zealots out here. He's going to get the first one out on time.
I mean, the Zealot's even out before he even gets to the pylon. The pylons, I was talking about earlier, just didn't even become a problem. He's totally fine here. He's got the wall. This is all about micro. Soulkey is going to basically try his hardest to force a MyuNgSiK mistake here.
Well, MyuNgSiK, he did look nervous in his first set here. Maybe if some nerves come back into play. But again, he's got 2 Zealots out here. It's going to be hard to mess this one up.
Yeah.
Trying to come over here to the gas probes, rather, and do some damage. But the Zealot is there.
This is the kind of situation, micro-wise, where it's actually much easier for the Zerg to mess this up than it is for the Protoss. Because if you mess this up, you're going to lose a Ling almost instantly. But the Zealots actually don't split here. It was a mistake, so he almost lost a probe there. In fact, he may have lost. Did he actually kill one? I was looking at the right side at that moment. I don't think he killed one.
Doesn't look like it, no. We would have seen it over there to the left.
That's right. We got that new UI.
Yeah.
Oh!
Sneaky Zergling.
He sneaks in there. That's a pretty cool move. MyuNgSiK not messing up his probe rally this time. I was concerned he might actually accidentally move click. did that twice already. Look at the worker count. It's 20 to 18 right now. A significant lead for MyuNgSiK this early in the game. Ling comes in here. He's not even going to actually do as much scouting as much as harassment.
Yeah, it's just going to be annoying.
I mean, it means that until the Mothership Core comes back, he can't actually make any tech because it'll be seen. Might have been the better choice to wait until tech timing to scout. That way you could have seen it rather than force it to be slightly delayed. But he's got 4 more Lings that are actually going to come in here as well, so it's going to further delay it. Oh, he actually decides not to go in.
Yeah. Would have lost some of the Lings, maybe one to the Mothership Core, and he would have had to micro them around. And he knows that his opponent isn't really making much tech. Sentry's coming out here. I mean, we should see something coming out of MyuNgSiK here in just a bit. He just put down 2 gates.
Yeah. So it looks like it's just going to be a gateway follow-up. Something that he shows right away to the Overlord that's on the pedestal over there at the natural.
The Watcher Overlord.
Yeah. Well, this isn't going to happen. Might even lose a Ling. Barely not. Warp Gate Research is getting close. Lining up with those gates. He's got no pylons on the map. And there's still not even a third base. He's slowly trying to get that creep across. He's got a lot of queens. There goes that third base drone.
Yeah. Just coming out a bit later here. We do see the Mothership Core and some units moving out towards that gold base.
I think he's just going to poke a little bit, and he's going to take a third Nexus. He's going to go take a third Nexus while he pokes with this group of units. He's got the forward pylon there to make it look more real and also to add a little bit of threatening power. You know, he knows the creep is so far away, and if suddenly there's like no units and he has a warp in of 3 Stalkers, for example, he might actually be able to do a lot of damage here. He's just coming over here.
3 Stalkers.
Here they come. And these queens off creep are going to be in a bit of trouble, especially if they get time warp. Queens off creep under time warp move backwards. That's how slow they are.
He's going to lose the second queen here.
And that's the queen that had the most energy.
Yeah, no transfuse coming through. He's going to warp in 3 more Stalkers here.
Nothing but slowlings coming out right now. And off creep, they're going to stand a chance. This base is going to have to be canceled. And in fact, he might take another queen with him. He's getting that Overlord.
Oh my god.
This is what happens when you go for an early pull. But the Lings come from a surprising angle. He's trying to slide through like butter with those Stalkers and off creep with Slowlings. Yeah, that round is so difficult. And a bad rally on the Overlord. Loses yet another one. That's starting to become pretty expensive here.
Looks like he won't be able to get that pylon. 12 health. And this base is done. It's going down. He lets it complete.
Yep. And he's got a recall. So he can actually just continue to poke.
Yeah.
He's not done yet.
Oh, this is such a bad position for Soulkey. He's getting a Roach Warren. He's trying to get up spines right now. His lair is almost done, but again,
even look at the worker
2 base
count.
versus 2 base.
He's down in workers even.
Yeah.
Time warps here instead of using a recall, which bit of a questionable choice considering those spine crawlers are about to finish.
Well, you know, a lot of his zealots do survive here.
Yeah, he doesn't have any transfuses, I guess. Okay, there they come. Yeah, the spines are done. Yeah, definitely not a terrible choice by any means, but I think he thought he was going to get a lot more done there than he did.
Yeah, and now with 4 queens out here, more roaches coming his way.
That trade, though, makes it so you can walk home safely anyways. He lost the Mothership Core. Looking back, I kind of like it, actually, to stay there. Roaches weren't ready yet.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it turned out well for him. He's taking his third base now before Soulkey gets his next third base up.
Yeah. Soulkey is now, like, he's looking at this game thinking to himself, God, I've got to do something crazy to come back because I'm so far behind. He's got a third Nexus before my hatches started. He's got upgrades coming out. He's got a large gateway army. He's got a lot of workers. He's had triple, or he's gonna have triple chrono soon. He's had double chrono for a while, completely uncontested. He's gonna have +1 soon, something you can reasonably expect. That's gonna make these stalkers, these gateway units, so much stronger. There's only 8 roaches out on the map right now. Could barely afford to make more of them because he doesn't have an economy. At least they're gonna have speed, and burrow means that he's not gonna be able to detect them and kill them. Ooh, and burrow movement too. If he gets both of those out, that could turn the tide of this battle.
Yeah, they really could.
Oh!
Some force fields, they only catch 1 though.
That was so close to getting a nice grab there. He's got a wall set up.
Warpins here. There it goes.
Yeah.
But again, the follow-up push is strong. He needs that burrow movement really, really fast out here. He wants to burrow underneath those force fields if possible. Cancels the third base. Wow. He is unbelievably far behind right now. He does drone up pretty much here. He goes up to 69 drones. But again, forcing that cancel, all he has to do is recall here, and these roaches aren't going to do anything.
Yeah, with this cannon, he's got that extra flexibility. It buys him just a few more seconds to get the rest of his units over here to kill these roaches. Doesn't get all of them, but doesn't have to worry about anything. I mean, right now, canceling that third base is almost like in a team game when you like type /FF and you're like asking your team to surrender. Like that's how like, that's basically like accepting defeat is canceling that third base. But what is he gonna do? I mean, it was such a bad spot.
Or lose it, you know, at that point in time. Like,
but he's agreed to be 3 base versus 2 base as a Zerg. What's the best unit to have when you don't have money is Swarmos. And I guess Burrowed Roach with movement is pretty handy too. But there's a cannon and an observer.
Yeah. They all get seen here. They're going to try to burrow past. They do regen very, very fast. That is true. And if they can't get in the main base, maybe he thinks he's just being...
And he's actually not really paying too much attention over here. Now sends these stalkers over. But yeah, there's no detection here, or rather no cannon. He's got the observer slowly chasing.
So, you know, he is trying to call his way back into this one.
But Burrow Roaches and Swarm Hosts are quite useful in this case when you have no money, because they're going to keep the Protoss preoccupied while you take all sorts of greedy risks with your drone count as best as you can, and while you try to get these Swarm Hosts out, because when your Swarm Hosts are in low number, you're very vulnerable. But if the Protoss is sticking back at home anyways, you can build that Swarm Host count. I think he's going up to about 10 now. I think he has a few more besides those 7 he's making. He's trading against these Stalkers, and there's no Colossi, there's no AoE damage in sight.
Blink finishes here. He's going to pick off a lot of these Roaches here. The Observer will be slow, so with the speed, he will be able to get away and possibly burrow away, but doesn't even need to. Pretty fast are the Roaches.
6 more Swarm Hosts. It's a lot.
He's basically doing this all off the 2 bases. He's not even mining from that 3rd base.
Soulkey is just like, no, I'm coming back. 12 in total Swarm Hosts will be out in the 2nd year. In this base, though, I don't know if he can hold it. His Locust Wave is just a bit late. No, actually, maybe it's here in time. He's only got +2. No recall. Might want to just do individual blinks here. Yep, there he goes. Pulling him back 1 by 1. That was a great snipe. That's so important. Nidus Network out of desperation now as he realized he wasn't going to be able to save that base. And he's probably going to want to bring some spines with this. I guess you can barely even afford to do something like that. But if he Niduses, he can get his Swarmos right up to that 3rd base. Start pushing his creep too. Nidus does give a little bit of creep. And he's got a lot of queens, if I'm not mistaken. I think he remade all of them, basically. How many queens does he have? Well, 5. Fair amount. Oh, he goes straight for the main. I did not expect this. I thought he was just going to go for the 3rd base.
He wants blood here. And the Protoss army is pretty far out of position. He is pulling it back right now, but the Stalkers are on the left side of the map with no recall. Okay, there it is.
There it is in the main base. And here come those Roaches. Still with speed, still with burrow movement. Huge warp in here of Zealots to buy time, but these Roaches are going to make quick work of the Zealots. But what is more important is his tech. He recalls home. And there's a force field set now behind these units, trapping them in here. All he needs to do is target that Nidus now. This actually looks so silly. A 2nd Nidus has been queued to the south of the main base.
There's like nothing in there that can move right now. They're all squashed up against the wall. The blinks come in.
He spam transfuses on top of it, try to keep it alive. All right, well, funny attempt there.
It buys some time.
Yeah, a few more Swarmos coming out. He didn't lose very many of those, and if any at all. +3 is about to finish here. Charge is on the way. It's about to finish too. It's going to give him a little more harassment potential. I just want to say this again. I want to point this out one more time. Soulkey is on 2 bases. Basically on 1 base because his main is almost mined out. We're at the 18-minute mark. He's still trying to make this work.
Well, he's holding on for now. He's got a lot of Swarm Hosts here and some support here in the Zerglings and the Roaches.
Yep. And I mean, he's just got enough AoE damage nearly here to push this back. And even if he can't right away, there's not enough money for Soulkey to make an easy Corruptor transition. And even if he did, guess what? There's already Void Rays on the way. He got that double Stargate for safety. You know, he's got the flexibility of going double Void Ray and double Colossi on these bases. He doesn't have very many gateway units left. Actually, I take it back. He's still got 14 Stalkers. He's at 172 supply. This is just how it is.
Oh, Time Warp's on the Swarm Host as well. It's reaching a point where there are just not enough roaches here and no support for the Swarm Host. Big Blink could come in here as well.
Yep.
He's got the Void Rays in the back as well.
No Corruptors. You can't afford them. And the Colossi just have free reign. GG.
GG.
So, MyuNgSiK, man.
You know, not the game I was expecting there. That's for sure.
No, things went pretty wrong for Soulkey when his Lings didn't do too much damage, and his third base was just so late, and he was constantly at an inferior economy, and he just didn't take he didn't have what it took to defend that third base.
Yeah.
His creep wasn't connected. There was just a few Stalker Warp-ins. And that wasn't even like a kill move or an all-in. It was just a poke.
Gateways.
Yeah.
Just 3. Not even 4. Like, just 3. But, you know, like you said, it all started with that 9 pull. He got way far behind and just MyuNgSiK was able to pull it through here. You know, like you said, maybe that, you know, allowing Overgrowth to get through, you said may have been bad for Soulkey here. It was definitely bad there. He loses that game. We're going to map number 2, King Sejong Station. This is Soulkey's pick.
So, I mean, what are the 2 things you know about your Zerg opponent? Almost certainly, when he goes for an early pull, there's going to be 2 things missing. And that's creep spread and that's Zergling speed. Without those 2 things, defending your third base is going to be a challenge. Not only that, the third base isn't going to be very far along, meaning it's not going to have very many hit points. You keep those things in mind, and you don't get no damage really on you from the early pull. You've got a normal build, and he doesn't. You get an advantage. Let's go into game number 2.
Up here in the top left, in the red, the Zerg player, he's down 0-1 right now. It is Soulkey.
Bring in the soul. Down here to the bottom right.
He's got the C, the key.
In the blue, it's MyuNgSiK.
He's got the key to my soul. Even though he is down in the loser's match.
I took the key to your soul on. I locked it up and threw it away.
Oh.
I don't know if that's really strange or what.
I
Romantic
don't know.
or just we're having a bromance moment, but
I don't know where to say thank you or I'm sorry or like why did you do that or
I'm just saying Soulkey doesn't have the key to your soul.
No, he doesn't.
Nobody
He has the key
does.
to Moonglade's soul.
Yeah.
Moonglade loves this guy, but if he's watching, if he's out there somewhere, first of all, shout outs to Moonglade.
Yeah.
He's a pretty cool guy.
Wish you were here with us.
Yeah. But also he likes Soulkey.
He does like Soulkey. This is a known fact about Moonglade.
Yeah.
It's going to be a gateway opening. I'm going to see if Soulkey actually decides to hatch block. He could. I mean, potentially. I don't know how really good that would be against this build, but he's shown that he's not afraid to do it.
Yeah.
He's definitely not doing it, though.
I
that
like-
would be pretty weird.
Yeah, I like going gateway first against Soulkey because it's good against the 9 pools that Soulkey loves to do. It's also good against the, you know, the scout that Soulkey loves to do almost every single game. I feel like Soulkey, I don't know, every single time I cast him, he's either sending out the drone on 9 for the scout or he's like making a 9 pool. I swear, like every time, almost every time. So
Yeah, no, I mean,
the gateway first is a great build to do against Soulkey.
Soulkey's even known for doing 6 and 7 pools on 4-player maps. This is, I'm actually really glad you mentioned this because this thought process hadn't even really come to my mind. But you're right, you know, he always drone scouts without exception, unless he's doing an early pool. Once again against early pool, fast gateway, gate Nexus core build is super solid against an always scouting drone scout into hatch first. If you're always scouting and you go into hatch first, it means you can get your economy and your tech up with the gate Nexus core. It's safe against basically everything. It's safe against Soulkey style. I'm glad you brought that up because this is clearly some research going into this series, I feel.
Yeah. Twice now MyuNgSiK doing the same build. Just makes sense, especially on the 2-player maps. We got Soulkey just doing hatch first into pool and then into third hatch pretty quickly here. No gas, of course. And MyuNgSiK's going to be able to see that now.
Yep. Wants to get out before the queens get on him.
Before they get all over him.
When they get out and do that, queens, you know, they bop.
Do they bop?
Kawaii Rice and I figured this out a while ago. Queens bop. That's what they do.
I don't know. I feel like they kind of claw.
I think they kind of bop, man. You think about a Reaper coming in there, I feel like that Reaper gets bopped.
The Reaper always gets bopped by anything. Like
I don't know if does a Stalker really bop a Reaper?
Well,
actually, I think the only like units that could bop a Reaper are like Queens and like maybe an Immortal that could like maybe be considered a bop or an Obliteration. One of the
is that
two.
a bop? I don't know.
I
feel like Zealots bop them more than Immortals do, even.
Yeah, but you can never bop a Reaper with a Zealot.
Sometimes, if you have really bad control.
I don't know. I don't watch games like that on this region.
I guess you're right. Well, we got a hidden probe there. Could just be for scouting the third base. Could be for a secret pylon.
It could be.
You know, the aggression, well, I guess if you call 3 gates aggression, did work in the last game, but this time...
It's just a scout.
Yeah. MyuNgSiK is going to go for that Stargate here.
Probably going to be Phoenixes, sticking true to his style. But Oracles are quite popular on this map because the rush distance to harass is very short by air, and then you can have that third base so flexibly with that Oracle support on this map. So I think it's one of the best builds for the map. That Ling is like trying to learn how to climb.
Give him enough time, man, you know. Overlord drop could possibly help him do it.
Snow Brand, Snow Ling right there. He's going to just have to wait. There's the first Phoenix coming out, as predicted.
Yeah. Positioning on the Stargate allows it to be easily scouted. You see Protosses do this all the time on this map. You just add it close to the wall, and Zerglings can just poke up, see a lot of information, and immediately know it's Stargate tech.
Yeah. You know, knowing that Phoenix build is coming is important, obviously. But it gives you this feeling of not like, oh god, he's got Phoenixes, what do I do? I gotta get ready. It's like, okay, it's not Immortals or anything weird like craziness coming out here. Now I know what to expect, and it's a really easy build to prepare for because you're like, okay, Phoenixes. There's no crazy like Phoenix build where you just do something and I die because I just messed up. You just go, okay, well I gotta build tech or sack defense. That word wasn't coming to my mind. Sack defense and make drones, and make sure I've got my queens in the right spot.
We got a really interesting build here out of MyuNgSiK. He has 3 gateways. He's making 3 more. He has a Robo for Warp Prism and Phoenixes to rule the skies. He could actually possibly go in towards that natural, warp in, do something like that, control with his Phoenixes as well.
What we've seen in the past, this reminds me of a build that Killer used to do a lot. JYP used to do this. I think JYP was the first person to do this consistently. This was like 2012. Is to clear Overlords of the Phoenixes and then do a Warp Prism drop with sentries and then just do a big warp in. He's going to do just Zealots. We see this drop a lot on this map. He has, I think, 6 gates, though, to follow this up. So if he actually just does a big Zealot warp in over here with the Phoenixes to support with the Queens and targets down those Spore Crawlers, this could be pretty gnarly. Let's find out how much he's going to commit. 5 Zealots.
That's a lot of Zealots, man. A lot of Lings coming out here. 38 in total. And he gets a decent surround here, but again, Zealots are pretty good against Lings. Is it going to be enough? With the Queen there, I think it very well could be. Phoenix is not the best against the Zerglings. No,
he's just not quite able to get the damage done he'd like to. Even trying to pick up Lings. He forces a lot of Lings to be made. He
still has 6 gates. I mean...
he forces a lot of Lings to be made, and I still think this is just too much. The Spore Crawler's out here. He's got another Queen out. Going to try to get the ramp controlled. This is still going on. I mean, he's really committing to this, but he's so low on workers right now. He's at 44 probes. Oh, God, he got the sentry. I didn't even realize that was a sentry until you said that.
Got the sentry. Now he's going to just continue warping in a bunch of stuff. Already Spine Crawlers being made in the main.
This situation got a lot more critical really fast here. 3 sentries are out now, and he's got these Phoenixes to actually pick off Hydralisk. So he needs to actually just go over and grab those Hydras when they first start popping out here. As they're isolated. Oh, God, these Queens coming out one by one. That first Hydra is out.
Oh, man. Zealot's already doing a lot of damage in the main. Misses the force field there. Ling's starting to do a bit of damage to the sentries there, but it's just so many sentries being warped in here. With 6 gates, you're able to warp in so much stuff.
What a horrible way to die. It looks like this might just break Soulkey's back here. That Spine Crawler on the main is so handy here. He's killing these Hydras as they spawn, but he misses the force field again. Just going to go ahead and start dropping these Hydras, I guess not dropping, but lifting into the sky.
Yeah, the opposite of
The opposite of dropping.
Lifting. He did miss the force field now, but he still has a lot of sentries. If he wants, he can just still hold the ramp.
It's almost like he just doesn't care. You know, in that last fight, he was a guy I just want to fight with my sentries. He lost a lot of Phoenixes too, so I think Soulkey might survive this. The question is how much damage was done, and you know, does Soulkey have a transition point? There's a third Nexus now almost completed. He did finally decide to make that, and that's maybe something he can fall back to. He's also got Colossi ready, and that poor sentry. Hey, the Phoenixes, man, you're MyuNgSiK. I figured you would have taken better care of those. Look at that drone with 5 health gets out too, but worker count dead even now. Ton of units killed. Colossi are out. Third base is up. Looking pretty good for MyuNgSiK.
Yeah, it really is. We saw Soulkey. I don't think he was expecting something like this. He saw the Phoenixes coming out. He didn't see the gateways. He droned up to about 63, I think it was. He just didn't have much outside of Lings. He was teching the Hydras when the attack happened. He just didn't have enough stuff. He was trying to hold with Lings, but once the ramp got taken, that was just so much damage already being done. Had to fight with a lot of drones. A lot of drones going down as well. Evened up that drone count, or that worker count, I guess.
I think he's got 2 time warps on that mothership core. Nice, grab a Hydra. With that and the Colossi, and he could even just do 1 time warp and 1 Nexus cannon. He's got so many choices. I believe he's at full energy. If he's not, he's got to be so close.
I think it was at about 160 when they went over him.
Because he didn't even use that mothership during the fight. I wasn't even involved. Well, he's just trying to go over here and find any stray Hydras, maybe an Overlord.
Yeah. Also good for scouting the back, but the Spire is at the natural, actually. So
yeah,
he's not going to see that.
Don't think he'll end up seeing that. But he's getting Phoenixes anyways, just to be safe. And blink.
Yeah. We got...
Oh! MyuNgSiK
slipping through, although he does lose 1 Phoenix.
I don't even care, man. I don't even care. I'm like, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. What are you talking about? This is MyuNgSiK. He's never even once lost a Phoenix. Never, ever.
Well, we're seeing Soulkey transition into this kind of Muta Corruptor style. Already getting out about 11 Mutas. 5 Corruptors being put in here.
Oh, sentry drop!
Oh, no.
Here they come! Oh, so awkward. 11 Hydras, but Mutas are already out.
Yeah.
I thought the Mutas were actually going across the map. No, they're not.
I thought they were further than they were.
Yeah.
But this is totally shut down.
It's
not really
actually
doing
totally
any damage.
fine.
He's trying to target down the lair here. It's not doing much.
Okay, I panicked there for a second.
Yeah.
But everything's okay.
Everything will be just fine. Don't you worry.
Still not that fine for Soulkey because there's more Phoenixes out than I think he realizes.
Yeah. If he tries to fight this, it's not going to go well. Hiding the Phoenixes well for a long time. Look at this. Here they are.
These sentries are so key because he's got plenty of Stalkers here to help out against the Corruptors. The Phoenixes are just so much faster. They're just going to link their lasers, knock these Corruptors out of the sky. The Force Fields are going to help against Lings and those Hydras against these Colossi, and then the Phoenixes do the rest against the Mutas. Mutas can't really break off from the main group to go harass because their firepower is solely needed here. Okay, some fake Colossi. Somebody held down the C key. Let's see how this goes. Got to be careful. Needs to make sure he's engaging in a place where he can lock these units down with force fields.
Yeah. Does not want to get into a bad position there.
I love how Soulkey is never afraid to just take multiple bases at the same time. Okay, here we go. Double time warp goes down. The Phoenixes are fighting against those Mutalisks, and the force fields here are pretty decent. There's just so much on the ground here.
Yeah, he's got way too many Stalkers.
Look at that blink.
Blink forward. He is so confident in this one. Blinks forward. I mean, there's a decent concave here of Hydras, but just not enough stuff. Yeah. A lot of Corruptors in the air, but they're going to be useless from here on out. A huge warp and a Stalkers to follow up here.
And there's just, there's so many warp-ins. And, Guardian Shield to help out again as well. He's catching those stray reinforcements from the 4th base. Soulkey lives for now, but I think he's going to lose his 4th base, as on the way out, MyuNgSiK should be able to make pretty quick work of that.
If he wants.
He just keeps warping in Stalkers. I guess he just thinks he can end the game. So much dead supply in these Corruptors, like you said, because they're not pulling their weight against anything. There's no air units for him to snipe or worry about. And look at those force fields again. Cutting off some of these units, forcing him to fight. He can't really retreat. A few Hydras come from the back. He's pulling drones now. But with good micro here on these Stalkers, With Blink, I'm just not seeing this hold. What a terrible way to die, though. Soulkey, our champion from last season of WCG, is going to fall here to really a force field drop in his main base.
Yeah, really unfortunate here. And with this many Stalkers, a huge Blink forward, the rest of the Zerg is going to be splattered on the ground. GG.
+2 finishes just in time for him to GG. MyuNgSiK, solid play there in both games. Soulkey playing really risky and aggressive in game 1. I feel a pretty smart choice, but it comes back to bite him. And then in game 2, he just doesn't respect the warp prism enough. I didn't even realize that was a sentry the last second. I think Soulkey was like, oh god, yeah, I guess. I thought you were really just going to try to snipe my spores and do a big Zealot warp, and that was going to be your main focus, and then you were just going to leave. But right into that main base, he had so much warp-in potential.
It was just more warp-ins than Soulkey was ready to handle. Like I said, he had droned up so much on those 3 bases. He just didn't have an army to defend against it. He had no roaches. He went straight to Hydras. It was pretty risky. And in the end, it came back to bite him. And MyuNgSiK, he lives to fight another day. He's going to have to go up against TY here in the final match, a guy he lost to.
Yeah, so we're going to have that rematch as our final match. The final match that will decide which player is going to go on, who's going to advance along with Hero. So, before we do that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, as is the way of things here at the Nexon Arena. So, tell your friends we're going to have a sick PVT rematch after this commercial break.